Hey everyone, this is Uri and Owen. Not good at making introductions. I know some guys make the badass introductions, but hopefully you guys know Owen, who won the Coinpoker championship, one of, if not the best, 6-max and heads-up players in the world right now. We're gonna run through some hands with you guys. These were played on GG Network. We're just kind of gonna talk back and forth. I know the results more than Owen does. This is his first time seeing these. We're gonna tell you guys about a project we're working on. Hope you enjoy the video. So in this hand, button raises to 50. You play cold calls here sometimes?
Yeah, I used to just simplify it, but I think that was mostly just because I hadn't taken the time to even look at the spot at all, but I've been playing it more recently.
Yeah, I feel like the metagame for me shifted between back in the day, no one knew anything, and so you kind of just wanted to simplify as much as you can because people were doing so many things badly. And now with the advent of all the tools, you actually actively say, oh, if everyone's simplifying this spot, I can get the big edge just by playing it and studying it, and then I'm the only one who's going to know what's going on there.
Yeah, you can also have sort of like hard to quantify edges where just if you're flattening the spot, the other person can have looked at it, but they won't have the reps that you have. So if you play these cold calls consistently and like you just have a feel for the dynamics, which the other player doesn't, which you build up over time.
And I guess last thing which is cool is your 3-bet range starts looking different. When you 3-bet them, you know what's going on a lot more than they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say not important until you're at like 5K now or something to do this. So this is checked around bets 50. I'll say that I would mostly call pocket fives, maybe sometimes raise. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot being in the middle here. You need to have way more traps than if you were heads up, so that the person behind can't just like raise super aggro and deny a bunch of your equity when you're on the lighter side of your range. So yeah, I'd be doing a bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is mixed. Again, if it were just the two of us, so this is just for the viewers, we'd always check raise with a third guy in. He's going to throw in raises for us, so we have more reason to slow play. But here we choose to check raise. Big size because it's a very polarized range. We're not going to check raise ace queen. 3-way, this is basically sets, maybe ace 5. So just going for stacks. Villain calls, turn 6 of spades. We do this. Stop me if you have any comments. I'm just going through the action if you want to.
No, this seems
Bring it up.
pretty, yeah, pretty standard. Yeah, I mean, no decision.
Really no decision?
Nah, no decision. I just, if I'm beat, I'm beat and take my money.
What do you expect to see?
I mean, you can see ace five because he deuces.
Would you ever expect to see a bluff?
You have to find pretty exotic bluff here.
Right? Like, so if this is never a bluff, it's basically someone who's, first of all, it has to be, I feel like, a recreational. There's
Yeah.
almost no incentive to fast play here when it's full rainbow.
Yeah, I mean, versus recreational, they can be massively overvaluing something as well.
Yeah.
Like could have turned 6-5 and just think, oh, I have two pair, like let's get it in now. Or like sometimes it's not even like an overvaluing thing from recreationals. They're just like they kind of know the money is going in and they just sort of rush to that outcome and deny you the chance to bluff them.
I'm not sure the reason, but I've seen it a bunch of times from recreationals. The most surprising hands. So we'd fold ace deuce and tank with ace 5, snap 5s,
Yeah.
probably snap deuces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What would the showdown that would surprise you the most be?
I mean, aces should be the most surprising one, but given that we know it's a recreational, yeah, that's a must. When you know it's a recreational, it's a bit like, fast playing the top set on a full rainbow board doesn't like.
They're thinking about the game differently, right? It's like, I'll show you who's a boss kind of play rather than a range versus range.
Also, I think on these sort of dry boards, I think recreational sometimes because they can't really imagine how someone would run a bluff here, they just assume, oh, he has it. Let's just get it in now before something happens. If you're against a pro, then they can see like, oh, I mean, maybe I rip my aces and just get it in against their value range. But also maybe he was about to bluff off a stack with 5-4 or something. But I think even recreationals on the spurious side sort of struggle to picture hands that they don't have. Like even if they might punt off with 5-4 themselves, they're not really going to be able to picture that when they don't have it. And I just say, "Oh, just get it in. He has a set, I have a set. Like, give me the money."
Perfect. Okay. So next hand, this time we have aces. We three bet. We got a cold call from a non-full stack. So clearly recreational. Villain does this. So four bet on the way to big size side. And you know this guy is the recreational called a three bet.
Yeah, I think I just always call to try and keep the wreck in here.
That's interesting. I always have this dilemma because I feel like if I always call, yes, the reg might come in, but also the reg knows my hand. Because what's your calling range?
Well, I mean, would you rip ace king in here? It's UTG versus UTG plus one. Or like, I don't know, hijack versus lowjack, whatever. Even though there's the weird dynamic with the cold caller, it's not like you're super excited to get ace king in these positions.
Yeah, but can you flat ace king? Like, I wouldn't mind folding it.
Is jamming any less face up?
I think so.
Well,
I think when you
jamming
shove, then they
ace
could put
king.
you on ace king. Yeah,
Versus this bigger fallback, maybe it's just like it's so weird when you flat.
I've had hands like this in the past where someone flatted against me for like half his stack, and his stack is 70 big blinds, and I'm like, I know you have aces, right? And then you flop a king with your ace king, and you're
Yeah.
like, how sure are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would just depend on how big a recreational this is. If you think that the only way the recreational ever gets away from jacks here is by you ripping it in, then you should just go post.
Yep.
But if this is more like the small fish that probably has like nines or ace queen and is folding them pre anyway, then you might as well just run it. Hopefully this is like a mega whale. Oh, well, he doesn't come along.
Yeah, we're getting all the worst outcomes. So
Yeah.
here, opponent's bets 10%, always
I mean,
calling, right?
weirdly, this is the one where you can actually stack ace king. Like you're not getting a stack from ace king on the king high board 100% of the time, as you said, if the guy's very switched on. But I guess they just tripled off ace king into us. Yeah. Yeah. The hand histories are a non, it makes it hard to judge. Maybe my thinking and also the way the time was played actually like could have left some dollars on the table depending on what kind of wreck this was.
Yeah, I personally feel like a lot of guys are too trap happy with Rex where they're like, let's leave the guy in the pot. And there's always this balance between leaving the guy in versus playing against the reg.
Yeah, what I didn't register was how big the fallback was because it's almost 5x, right?
Yeah, it was huge.
So yeah, and I was thinking like, well, if it's a more reasonable size for you to actually do
Yeah, then I'm flat. Then I could see flat.
but yeah, when it's 5x, yeah, that's actually quite a unique scenario where flat is honestly very face up.
I'm not selecting for unique scenarios. I just picked like the 10 biggest spots in a database. So
Yeah.
we're just randomly getting these. Let's get some more normal ones. So here we call a three bet, check, turn 10. I guess mostly blast this, sometimes check this.
Yeah, I mean, usually 10-10 and Jack-Jack boards in like BBB for the pots are pretty good for the caller. I mean, like Jack-Jack boards are like the nuts, but like 10-10 is close. And that, especially when they miss C bet as well on a board where the top pairs are pretty vulnerable, you're doing really well at the top end of the range. And then it's also, it's full rainbow. There's no flush draw, so got to be pretty aggressive with the draws we do have. Like, yeah, a lot of things making me want to just like pile a bunch of money in. But yeah, could do some like check raising. This hand could also check call as well. Yeah, it's kind of got everything on the table.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So here we check raise. Villain calls river ace. And is this a spot where this is like the busted flush draw? So you give this up, but you fire your gut shots, right? Like his folding range is centered around having queen jack or how?
Not really though, because he doesn't have queen jack off pre. He's only gonna have queen jack suited hands pre. And then if he has queen jack with a backdoor flush draw on the flop, it's gonna be very high frequency C bet. So you're not actually blocking any queen jack combos with this hand. You're blocking I mean, like they can have some jack eight off combos from pre.
I guess you're
Uh,
blocking trips well with two spades.
yeah. Oftentimes when you have an open ender, it really sucks because you're blocking their missed open ender. But here, I don't think that's the case. So I think it's actually fine to go take this, and then yeah, you block the trips. It's not an absolutely amazing spot though, because the river is basically a hard brick. and you do have plenty of misses. So you're gonna have to show a bit of discipline here, but this combo seems pretty legit.
So you'd throw in give ups with a diamond or heart, basically.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined when I'm not blocking the suited 10x to give up. Also depends how wide you think you can go for value in these spots based on like how they're c-betting. Because like you might be able to go wider than like a 10 on the turn, and you can have like check raises as wide as like ace 9 or something. And then you can like start blasting even harder. But yeah.
In what way would you bet ace 9 on the river?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like, if the guy's not playing like a very protected check back range,
He never has an ace, basically, bet calling the turn, right?
yeah, or, like his only flop check back with a trap is like aces, right? Like that's kind of a simplistic thing which happens to some people at mid stakes. I'm guessing not, given that the guy called. Like, yeah, he did have the 10. But then even if you run into a 10 sometimes, it still doesn't mean that ace 9 is too thin to go for stacks. Because especially like ace 9 has like the blocker effect going on where you block like the aces, so you're blocking their only trap hand or like their high frequency trap hand. But yeah, still, I mean, you could go either way on river and turn. Like, it could be done with an RNG or it could be done based on the opponent.
And would you say kind of well played by both?
Yeah, I think pretty well played by both. Yeah, having some discipline to check back a weak top pair sometimes because the board isn't perfect for them.
So here we flat a 4-bet. Looks like an easier one. Tough to see this getting hard. So villain bets, we call. He shoves, we call. Which bluffs would you expect to see here?
Well, I mean, usually in 4-bet pots you have to find some stuff which is a bit more exotic, but there's so much on this board.
So
Um,
just all the flush draws, basically.
well, I think you have to get a bit more than that. Probably have to throw in a few like ace queen combos or something, which kind of feels so shit when it's so easy for imposition to call here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there might be like some mergers that I could imagine out of position just like ripping ace 10 to get in position to fold it, like to fold queens and jacks but call a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't shock me if that was a thing.
I wouldn't have called a 10. Am I supposed to call a 10 on a turn?
Yeah, it feels quite hard to fold a 10 here. Like, I mean, when they play this fast play thing and they're like playing against your draws, I mean, I'd bet like board pairs just have so much equity. Or like, well, so much equity relative to pocket pairs.
By virtue of having more out. So well played by both again.
Yeah, seems pretty good. I mean, ace 8 could have folded pre, but
Yeah, don't be a nit,
uh,
Owen. Okay, so we have a bet call. Yeah, seems good.
yeah, raise cool.
Turn a set. Call a turn. River a boat.
Oh, this is too easy.
Shove. Let's think about what we bluff shove here. So 7-8 feels like the natural one, right? 7-8 suited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too much better than any 7 though. Just because like they never have pocket eights, they never have 10-8. So it's important to have a 7 or a 4 in your hand. But I think blocking the 8, it's sort of a nice unblocker to have an 8 in your hand. You're not going to block any bluffs. But I don't think that's doing better than like ace 7 or ace 4. I think those are going to be like,
You fold them on the turn though, right? Because you don't have them offsuit.
oh yeah, I think yeah, no, you can't have it with the ace of diamonds. Yeah.
This is one of the cool nuances about range reading where if you're on the button and the guy does this, you have so many bluffs to choose from, right? You have ace of
Yeah.
diamonds in a million different ways. With a pair, here we're still going to have the bare ace of diamonds. It's just not going to come with a pair. So it's going to be less obvious. And then on the board pair, I guess shoving ace of diamonds, jack, or ace of diamonds, queen would be a bit spewy, right? Could you shove the nut flush?
Yeah.
I guess maybe you could.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's probably it's the sort of thing where if you're not shopping the nut flush, then what is the point of them ever putting a boat in this size? You know, like they're kind of just doing it to hope you bluff them. You put fours in the size, and then the only hand they ever shove is sevens. It's like a bit of a shit trap.
Three deuce of diamonds. I guess he called down because he thought we could have the ace of diamonds shoving on him, right? Like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace nine with the ace of diamonds. Adds up to a lot. Combos aces with a diamond, kings with a diamond. You really need to control your frequencies there as hero if you're willing to shove a diamond.
Yeah, I mean, there could also be like pretty legit shoving combo, which I just sort of glazed over was just a 10.
Yeah, like again, we'd have to call on the turn. So
Yeah, actually, you got tons of bluffs here. You've got every 10x with a diamond kicker,
Mhm.
and like down to 10. If you're opening wide.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is very difficult for in position. He really has to RNG a low number.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was like, yeah, just waking up. But so I was like, oh yeah, obviously we just call if you have trips, and then but like trips is clearly a catcher here,
Yeah,
so you can definitely bluff it off.
perfect,
Um,
perfect.
so
Um,
yeah,
so call a three bet, rainbow board, just call, deuce on the turn. I mean, we're getting layups basically.
but yeah,
Bluffs I would expect to see in practice. I think you could see, I guess, just something that turned hearts. Like I wouldn't expect anything too spewy to show up.
like 9-8. Yeah, I mean this is kind of why you're not supposed to go all in this spot. There isn't enough equity on both sides. It's like you're not really actually denying tons of equity here.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
compared
it's
to
a weird spot, right? Like this feels like the guy fucked up his theory in a way.
it's like they went the big flop size to set up turn shove, and then they didn't realize that that's a thing for some turns, but not all of them. Like when you get a deuce, you can play three streets, but it's all like the big flop size is giving you the option to play two streets if the turn is a lot more connected than this.
Okay, so soul reading time. Given the guy messed up the sizing, I always say, if the guy goes the wrong theory sizing, the sizing is connected to his hand in some way, right? He's not thinking this is a theory size. Something about his hand wants to make him go this size. So does he have queens or does he have king 10 of hearts? Which one?
I kind of feel like they just had the draw on the flop. I kind of feel like it's 9-8. There's, if we're going really deep into this reading, there's a chance that they find this flop size up because they have a hand which can two street bluff. That's it. That's what I want to put them on. Oh, that'll do it.
I'm surprised. I was sure we are going to see a bluff as well.
I definitely wasn't sure we were seeing a bluff, but I was like, if I have to call out one hand, yeah. The 9-8 felt right, but unfortunately not.
It's a weird one. I wouldn't even be sure what note to take. Like mega fast plays value on dry boards, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this can just be like more innocuous though. It's not like they free bet the flop on like, I don't know, ace king rainbow.
So you're
Uh,
saying this might be the guy not getting some of the nuances.
I think this is less likely to be a very conscious decision and more that they're missing a bit of the nuance. I wouldn't really blame someone for missing this at like 10-20 that you can play over three streets here. Because on really similar boards, you're still going to two street.
Yeah.
Like if the board's like Jack 10-5 deuce and the turn brings a flush draw, you'd still two street the top pair top kicker.
I don't know
It,
how you can call Jack 10 and Jack 7 very similar in this
okay,
case, but I know what you
but
mean.
yeah, like it's high density straight draws with a flush draw on the board, but like they're kind of missing which ones and like also just how much higher the density the straight draws get as like the top two cards come together. I feel like when people sort of bucket things and like they have like these crude delineations between like types of boards, this is a sort of common mistake I would expect people to make where you have these boards which are on the cusp, or especially like the flop doesn't tell you which board you're going to get. So they've sort of played a strategy where on the flop they decided how it's going to play out over three streets. And then they're sort of like ignoring the edge case ones where it's like either like the board pairs low or they get the deuce or whatever, where you go back to playing a three street strategy as compared to, you get like the 10 on the turn and it's like, okay, yeah, fine, we can just blast.
I wanted to tell you guys that part of the reason me and Owen are doing this video is to tell everyone about a new coaching project we're doing together. This is a continuation of Guerrilla Poker. It's at the editor will put the URL for you guys. I don't remember the URL. How do you say hyphen? Is that the Guerrilla hyphen or God,
Oh,
dash? Is it a dash? No, not sure. Guerrilla-poker.com. There are going to be two groups. The nosebleed one is headed by Owen, where, Owen took a lot of things a step further in resolution than I did, or more than one step. I think you can hear that in how we talk about hands, how he's gone very, very deep into how things function. And he's basically lead coach of that nosebleed group, and I'm there with him. And then we also have a group that's a more open group. Basically, anyone can apply. It's not a coaching for profit. You just pay like a low 5-figure amount. We haven't decided the details yet. Owen and me are also both going to be involved there. So both of those groups are open. If you want to check them out, just apply on the website. It's free to apply. And, the high stakes group, if you're good enough, will talk to you. And the other group, The idea is you make progress there, and then if you want, we take you into the high stakes group. So we're kind of grooming you to get there in a way. Yeah, anything to add on?
No, I just think it's like we've had all of these requests over the years from people who weren't quite at the level we're working at. Or sometimes we find people with a lot of potential, but they haven't been sort of taught the rigorous basics or like the understanding of like the building blocks of theory that we want people to have so that then we can, seamlessly build off that. And that's what we're hoping to do with this smaller group is to get players to like this level where they will be able to understand all of the like fundamental aspects of theory. And then hopefully I'm going to be able to take some of those people and, give them the things to progress even further beyond that point.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so happy if you guys check that out. Think you guys can see we speak a similar language regarding these boards. We think about them in a similar way. We'll go back to the thing itself. So a few more hands. 3-bet, 6-7, get 4-bet. Always call, I think. BBB.
Yeah, always calling.
Small bet. Always calling, never raising.
Um,
Maybe raising, maybe folds tens. What do you think?
yeah, I could see this being quite a nice raise. Where you might get it in against like ace king with a spade, but you'll get them to fold like tens no spade. I don't know if they should, but I could just imagine from a practical perspective when someone runs it on you here, it's not really fun to call off an underpair when you just see top pair every fucking time.
Yeah, 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 for sure. So like raise to 500 and then blast off.
Calling is definitely going to be fine, but I do think that there are some fun things with raising. When you have a pair plus flush draw, raising can never be bad. Like you're just not behind versus anything. Like, other than pocket queens, you're doing completely fine, and even then you have outs.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, nothing is wrong with a pair plus flush draw other than getting to the river and bricking. That's the only bad.
That
So
sucks.
yeah, so we turn a combo draw, villain shoves.
I mean, I was gonna say like they'll often be going all in on the double flush draw turn, but even when they don't, when you have this sort of hand, you should probably just put them in yourself
Hmm.
so that if they do have like some jack high draw or whatever, they have to commit themselves now or like fold their equity rather than like, running it out. These hands which have like really high equity, but like their showdown is like very, very minimal. People play them way too passively.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. And bluffs we expect to see. It's a 4-bet range, so there's no 10-9, there's no Jack-10, maybe Ace-5 of spades or clubs. There's no King-Jack of spades, there's no Ace-Jack of spades, right? Like the 4-better specific
Yeah.
doesn't have many flush draws.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard for them to have bluffs here. I feel like I wonder if we're supposed to kind of get owned by some of their bluffs, just because they might be reaching, even though it's double flush draw, double flush draw makes them want to fast play their value. But because, yeah, they don't have a bunch of these suited hands, and the ones they do will be like 10-7 suited or something. So then it's like, I mean, maybe you just pile in the board pair and then we just get owned. But yeah, I think it's easier as out of position here to just like underbluff by accident, thinking this board is really easy to bluff, but you just don't actually have too many draws. You need like Broadway cards so that you can hit your straight draws here, but they don't. They don't. They only got one.
Yeah, so basically, this is one of those spots where it's challenging to find bluffs, and you probably just need to blast off Ace-King randomly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to go kind of that deep, and it just doesn't feel fun to blast off Ace King here, right? Like, just sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well, well done to him. I feel bad for this guy. Nice hand.
Yeah, well played,
Actually,
Scott.
I torched it into the abyss on like the scariest board where you get snapped so often by hands like this.
So what you're saying is if this guy wants to apply to Guerrilla Poker, we'll seriously consider the app.
Show you. I mean, it's just like it's requires some balls, really, because it's like it's so easy to let people get away with like folding some marginal stuff just because you're getting snapped so often. But if you want to get paid, you still have to do this. So yeah, well played.
Okay. Kings, donks we call. Guess we probably mostly call, sometimes raise.
Yeah, I think raising is really low frequency when you get this high up though. Like on these boards, aces raises more than kings because of the gut shot and the blockers.
Yeah, makes sense.
So kings is like the most trapping one.
So bets we call, river 4, checks
So it's the gun turn.
75.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
weird size, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the size you want for an overpair, but like they don't really have that many overpairs.
For river, we have busted spades, busted hearts. What does he have in your mind with 1/3 into B75? What's he gonna show up with?
The more polar the turn bet is, the more polar by like ST the river check will have to be. So I mean, it's not like full on they've overbet and then check the river and they basically just have trash.
Mhm.
They can have some stuff, but it is a pretty thin range we're going into. They can have some traps as well. So I think even though kings feels like you're always good here, you can't go that greedy because if you get them folding out like whatever, like 8-7 or whatever hand they have, if they start folding that, then like you are just running into the occasional trap that they have. So yeah, even though kings does feel super strong here, you can't go too greedy.
So this is too greedy in your eyes.
Every hand which loses to you is going to mix folds. Obviously, imposition has tons of bluffs here. And so they're like, oh, I have so many bluffs, so I can bet big with value and they'll still call. Kind of a dangerous thought process when our position doesn't really have that many catches in the first place. You can just be value owning yourself so easily. Yeah, and then like they're at least choosing to rep the trap. It's getting really interesting at this point. It's quite fun.
I'll stop you there because
Yeah.
you don't have to reveal everything. We can just say, well, this is a bluff catcher. Let's randomize calling and folding.
right.
We can save some stuff for the guys in the CFP.
Okay, yeah, we'll save some stuff for the CFP. I'm really curious to see what they had here.
You have to say bluff or not bluff, though.
I'm gonna say they have it, but I don't know. This is so hard to tell with it. Like, you kind of need to know the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is sort of what I was getting at. Like, when there's so little showdown value in the range,
Yeah.
it's really easy to run into a trap. So yeah, I feel like the kings is sort of like it's been too greedy.
I'll
Yeah.
say maybe a simplistic thing of when we open for an overbet. I don't know how tempting it is for people to check raise bluff in today.
I mean, I was kind of rooting for them to have the bluff because it's so nice, but then they would have just been punished because obviously it's like we're going for big pots and they get called. It's so like it's so nice if they have 8-7 here. Like I'd rate it so much, but then they just get punished by the tilt call. Like yeah, that's quite a nice line to find, honestly, by the fives, and then gets like max rewarded because obviously the kings isn't raising unless we go like really small on river.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, well played by then.
So 3-bet, 4-bet, call, check. Do we have to call?
I think without the backdoor flush, Foolish just folds.
But with
With, it's probably a continue. But yeah, I think without, you just fold because it's like not actually worth that much. Like the pockets are better.
yeah. So this is one of the boards where usually you rather have the board paired. When the board is paired, you're actually drawn to an under boat rather than a legit boat. So it's just much worse than having a pocket pair like.
Yeah, it's like we're just dead versus ace queen, where sevens has outs.
Well, we can't have sevens to be fair, but yeah.
We'll have it like 5%, but
Yeah, so river 9, good run out for our 6-5. Anything other than shoving here?
I mean, we could block. Like, are we gonna shove Jackson tens here? Like, maybe they're kind of close. They're a bit opponent dependent, whether you would put them all in or not. So yeah, with that in mind, I'd be tempted to block her as well. I think you can go either way. Yeah, just I mean, gotta do something with a hand this bad though.
And thresholds, he needs to call, of course, every trap he has to call aces, and he basically needs to mix with his ace kings, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, classic 4-bet pot spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3-bet, half pot to 10-8, check when we improve. What do you do on the river?
I wonder if this is strong enough to jam. It feels really close.
Isn't there a hand in the Coinpoker challenge where you jam 9s in a spot like this?
Yeah. But no.
So very,
Um,
very big difference.
but yeah, I think it was bet check bet, and I just ripped nines in this spot, and they called eights or something, or like a7. Typically, it's because it's a 10 high board. Like everyone's protecting their top pairs so much on earlier streets. When you have top pair by the river, and like it hasn't been like there's been no overcard,
Mhm.
very high likelihood you have the best hand. One small drawback is we have like the 10x with the 10 of spades. Because I think as in position, they're going to probably reopen the 10x with the flush draw very high frequency. Especially from a human perspective, it's quite like tending to reopen more the ones which can like snap call the check raise very confidently and like they have more equity to hit on rivers. And Solver might not love that, but I don't know. That's one small thing.
Mm.
But I feel like we have the best hands super often in this spot. And it's not like it's hard to bluff here. So it's not like the other person's gonna necessarily just make a bunch of hero folds and turn this into a value own. Like, obviously, we can just have a bunch of, random queen 9 or whatever.
Okay, so what would be the most painful hand to get called by?
We'd most like to see, like, probably either jack to raise 10, like, those hands would tilt so hard. I mean, if someone traps with that, it's whatever. If someone takes back, like, jacks no spade and then calls you on the river here, oh my god, like,
How about this
end the session. Wow. Ugh. I mean, yeah, like, this is why I was like this is why it sort of felt close because you definitely not beat all the time. The weird thing is, though, it's like, it's kinda just what else are you doing? Are you going, like, B75 and then mixing versus the jam? Possibly? Possibly? I think this hand is only really tilting to get called by if they tank call you. As as long as they snap it in, like, this is not a big deal.
Okay.
They should still have some 10x. It's not that they should never have 10x. They should still have it occasionally, and having, like, one of their weakest ones is obviously, kinda makes some sense. The club kicker maybe makes some sense, like, because we're probably not gonna see bet the flop with 2 clubs as often, so we'll get into bet check bet nodes without a club, so we kinda unblock some bluffs. I don't know if that's exactly what they were thinking, but it does help slightly. But yeah, I don't know. As long as they call pretty quickly, I mean, it is a 1.5x pot sharp, so if they take a couple seconds, but if they go deep into the time bank with this, like, you just like, oh, fuck it. End the session before you punt another stack. That's what
Right, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be the last one. So we call a 3-bet with king 10. I guess sometimes 4-bet this hand. Check call flop, check call turn.
Sounds probably mixes some check raise.
Really? What's the idea with check raising this one?
It's got some equity and like the blockers are nice. It's quite hard to come up with just good equity check raises here. So you get a bit more blocker reliant on them in this spot.
And is
Like,
this like to make them fold a spade draw or make them fold a ace king son of
yeah,
a.
yeah, ace king's gonna be mixed if you check shove here.
So basically you're saying sometimes jack 10, queen 10, and then king 10's kind of the same, not like he's betting a king too often.
I think king 10 just has like slightly better blockers than the other ones. Yeah, ever so slightly better. I think also, a hand like queen jack is supposed to check back the turn in decent amount, whereas a hand like king queen, like, that calls off the turn every time. And like they can also have king queen off, whereas like they can't have like king jack off or queen jack off. Calling is definitely standard. Also, even if raising is off, it's kind of a spot where like you are going to have some hands which want to fast play, and this one's sort like it makes a more reasonable candidate than people think. Obviously, you have top pair with a redraw. It's very tempting to play this super passively, but yeah, just the options are out there.
Okay. So we call river ace of spades. I always, when the board changes so much, I think, am I supposed to lead out? Because he's gonna barely check back. His king queen is ace, king, aces, maybe sets check back. And then I'm like,
I could see like normal in lead here. Yeah, I could see like it sort of makes sense to me. You have to bluff some like really rogue stuff though. You have to bluff like queen jack. So, like, oh,
that's a rough one. I agree. So
yeah,
yeah, we check villain shots.
yeah.
I guess we have to call with a straight. You're not happy.
We, I mean,
I mean, how does he have a flush, right?
but like, how?
Like three, four value combos. How many does he have?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, actually, no. Ace, king, and queen of spades all on the board. Yeah.
You know, one of the first coaches I worked with, we were playing a hand, and I think I actually played a hand against him where he snapped off a stack of mine, and I was bluffing. And he told me, whenever someone reps 3 or less combos, just click call.
That's. Mm. I mean,
Granted, this was 12 years ago.
yeah. I think people have gotten a little bit better at realizing that they're repping free combos. I reckon I do end up just clicking in. But like I would wonder if this is the size like obviously if this is the size they use with a 10, like we just snap it in. I kind of suspect we just chopped here because it is really like you have to really fucking go for it to have a bluff. Oh wow. I guess this is an aggro fish then.
I guess so, right?
Yeah, I guess it like this has to just be a spew fish. For them to have like 9-7 clubs in. Like there's no ante, nothing going on, right? This is yeah.
Poker's alive and kicking, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So thanks everyone for watching. check out Guerrilla-Poker.com. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. See ya.